And coming up in this episode.
So funny thing, I did not even prepare as much for the interview. You know, like I just read a little bit about Germany. I couldn't even remember some of the things I had read up, and coincidentally, I got the visa. So I took LinkedIn courses, Coursera, all these MMOC courses, and because I still wanted to be in sales, in business development, I would look for things that were competitive, contemporary skills that I needed in my field, and then I would take courses or read up on them. I would look at people that were doing what I wanted to do on LinkedIn, look at their profiles. And for someone who is into data analysis, there are so many courses you can take on data analysis, like I don't know, Microsoft Azure, SQL. You can learn about SQL, get grounded in Excel, Power BI. That's for data analysis, for example. For someone who wants to go into software engineering, you should learn different programming languages, R, Python. Me in sales, I had to learn how to use a CRM to learn communication skills, learn how to interact with clients. There are so many soft skills that people overlook that are actually very important.
Vital,
I feel like people should pay attention to not just what's happening at the moment, but what will be happening or what will be relevant in the future. So for example, if you Google something like what careers will still be relevant in the next 10 years, you see something like data analysis, you see something like sales, you see something like software engineering, artificial intelligence, machine learning, things like that. So I feel like people should be more futuristic and plan ahead. Okay, things that are trending right now may not trend in the next 10 years, may not trend in the next 5 years. So position yourself in a place where you are always relevant and having a growth mindset, like you are always learning. I said, take advantage of opportunities. Like where I got to was because I was open-minded to just take advantage of the opportunity. And the thing is, if you look for them, you will find them.
This is the real life experiences of immigrants in the diaspora. Welcome to the BO podcast. And I am your host, Becky Onyango. And today we have a very special guest who is going to share the experience living abroad. Stay tuned. So, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the BO podcast. I'm your host, Becky Onyango. And today we have our very special guest, OhGee, joining us. And she's just going to talk about her experience moving all the way from Nigeria to Germany, and basically what her experience entailed as a student as well as a professional. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. So let's start off. So thank you so much, OhGee, for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe you can start off with your formative years, your background, where you come from, and what you always wanted to do as you grow up as a child.
Okay, well, I'm Nigerian. I come from Nigeria, the western part of Africa. And growing up, I always wanted to be some sort of a consultant, some sort of a person that people would come to solve their problems. I wasn't really clear about what exactly I wanted to do, so I decided to try different things. And I studied microbiology in Nigeria for my bachelor's, and after my bachelor's, I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to go to Canada, but I was denied visa 3 times actually.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I was working as a salesperson for a company in Nigeria called MultiChoice. Actually, it was so funny that as a microbiologist, started doing sales. The transition was interesting. So after there's something we call youth service in Nigeria. After my youth service, I just got this opportunity. It was some sort of a training that was also a recruitment exercise, and I didn't know. So I just went for the training, and then it was Unilever recruiting for a new product they had just launched. So that's how I started selling, I did that for a year, and then I got recommended into MultiChoice, and I did that for 3.5 years as a sales executive for MultiChoice in Nigeria. Yeah, and in 2018, I left for Germany after I had tried 3 times to go to Canada and it failed.
So what came about the change of, from Canada now considering Germany?
Okay, my parents were like, hey, try something else.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, what else is there? I don't want to go to the US. It's a bit chaotic, like gun violence, and I just didn't like places that were so much in the spotlight. Canada is a bit calm. So I wanted a calm place, and they're like, okay, try Europe. And I was like, language barrier, and then my dad had one of his relatives in Germany already, so he was like, let him get in touch, and the process was so seamless. Like I tried once applications, I even got like 3 schools.
Wow.
So there were different options.
So you applied everything on your own, not through an agent in this case?
No, there was no agent.
Okay, and then you applied to the public universities or just directly to did you apply through Uni Assist to a public or a private university?
Uni Assist. So I think Uni Assist really helped because you have like a multiple opportunity to have like different options.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got like 2 schools. So I had to choose which one I wanted, and then I went for Cottbus because it was somehow closely related to what I studied and management, where I wanted to go into.
Okay.
Yeah. So I studied environmental and resource management in Cottbus.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming to Germany, I understood that you can actually not speak German and survive, right?
Yeah.
Even though, speaking German would really help you in terms of getting friends or, just living your normal life in Germany, going to the office to maybe ask for something or going to the hospital or just interacting with
getting by.
Getting by, yes, it would help. But because there are a lot of internationals coming into Germany, especially cities like Berlin, Hamburg, Frankfurt, the bigger cities, you can survive. But definitely learn the language will give you an edge.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. So I came to Germany. I saw a lot of. It was surprising, but people that don't speak the language, learning in English, I was surprised because I also had the option to go to Finland. And to me, Finland was too far. The language was completely strange. So I opted for Germany. That's just how I found myself in Germany.
So through the recommendation from the friend of your dad who was already here.
Yes.
And then also having a feel of what the country is like.
Exactly.
Okay. And then what was the visa process like for you? How difficult or easy was it in the beginning?
Okay, during my days,
did they reject you like 3 times like Canada?
No, that's the thing. It was very seamless at that time. Now it's a bit different. So funny thing, I did not even prepare as much for the interview. Like I just read a little bit about Germany. I couldn't even remember some of the things I had read up, and coincidentally, I got the visa.
So did they asked you a lot of questions in regards to the political system of Germany, like how many states, who's the current chancellor? Or do you remember which questions they asked?
Yes, I remember some of the questions they asked me. They asked me, why am I going to Germany? Why did I choose Germany? Why am I going to study the course I chose to study? What is the course about?
Okay.
What is the capital of Germany? And a couple of states in Germany.
Wow.
Those were the questions I was asked.
But you were fully prepared on that.
I wasn't really prepared. I could remember some things. I could remember the capital is Berlin, but some states I didn't really remember. I was mentioning cities instead of states.
Yeah, true.
But I still got it regardless. So I felt that I wasn't meant to go to Canada. If this had worked out seamlessly for me, then, I just...
Yeah, that's also the same thing. I remember also personally my own experience after I had finished high school. This was way back after high school. All my classmates were all flying out, right? So I was also trying out options of finding a country to go to. And for me, US was the option at that time. So I did all those exams like SAT, GMA. At that time, at a high school level, you do, SATs and like the TOEFL exam. And then, unfortunately, I didn't get I was very, persistent on getting a scholarship. So I didn't get like a full scholarship because, in US, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So the closest that I got was half scholarship, which means I have to pay for the rest. And my mom was like, no, you have the opportunity to go to school here locally, because, you know, in Kenya you can go through the government's scholarship way, and then after that, then after you graduate, then you can look for other options.
Yeah.
So I really tried on for US. It was just not working out. I used to cry. And then I remember when I applied to Germany, now after deciding to school in Kenya, then I applied only once. I was not even serious about it. Then I got a full scholarship to Germany, you know? So the thing is, yeah, at times, if something is just not working on this side, you have to be open-minded to try another, which was a good move also on your side. Yeah. Okay, and then which month of the year do you remember coming to? Was it super cold or was it during the summertime?
I remember it was on the 26th of September in 2018. I remember the day, actually. Yeah. I arrived Frankfurt. My uncle came to pick me up with his son. And it was really cold for me. Then it was like in the teens, 14, 15, 16 September, not winter yet, but it was super cold. I had like 4 layers on and I was still cold. And he was telling me, like, he just had a sweater on and a pair of jeans. He was telling me, no, winter is not here yet and you're this cold. What happens in winter?
Even the winter comes, But at least you're prepared a little bit. You started layering on from
exactly.
Okay.
When something interesting happened at the airport, they asked me, "Are you going to Russia?"
Oh, because you had
I had so many jackets on.
No, you just tell them this is not my country, please. So this is not the weather I'm used to. Okay, nice. And in terms of the administrative stuff, you know, like upon arrival in Germany, you have to start doing this registration. And how was that for you? How was the experience generally?
I would say I was really fortunate because, number one, I had an uncle who was guiding me. Secondly, I came to a school that has, I think, the highest population of Nigerians apart from NRV. Corpus has a lot of Nigerians because there are so many English-speaking courses, both masters, bachelors, PhD. So there are a lot of Africans, a lot of internationals there. Also,
Corpus also has a lot of bachelor courses in English. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
This is Corpus University.
Yes. So I had a Nigerian community. I had a lot of colleagues, like in my class, we I don't know, about 20 Nigerians or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you just feel like you're back at home.
And we had a closely knitted society. Like we had meetings often where people would, you know, what issues are you going through? You would always find someone to help or someone that has gone through what you are going through. Yeah,
this is exactly what I mentioned also with one of our previous guests. I find it that in the Nigerian culture, you guys have like very strong knit communities whereby you come together, you're always sharing whatever problems that you're going through. There's always somebody to help in one way or the other. So how did you come across this community? Okay, so once your uncle guided you with the administrative stuff, then you coming to settle in the school. How did you start getting involved in the communities?
So he actually even had someone pick me up in school. And the guy had picked up my key for me for my accommodation. So the guy seamlessly just helped me through everything. You know, so he was like, hey, there's a community here. If you're interested in this, these are the people you should meet. If you're interested in that, this is where you should go, you know. So it was a soft landing for me because I had people. And also on something we call Naira Land, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information. There are even groups that you can join before you come, 6 months before you come, one year before you come. So it really helps make things really easy for people. So now in regards to the settling in, so as a student, how's your experience been in Germany? And then also, how can you compare it to back at home? How different is it? It's completely different, I would say. Like, things are so structured and organized that you can literally plan a quarter, like a year, 3 years, 5 years, you know. Everything is written on paper. Everything is really planned.
Very structured.
Very structured. Like for my accommodation, 1 year in advance, they would say, hey, we are going to have a scarcity of accommodation, or we are going to have a lot of people reach out to us in this period. So if you want to come in this time, say March to April, apply June the previous year, something like that. So they already tell you 2 years in advance, 1 year in advance, hey, if you are planning to come in 2022, 2023, this is when you should start applying. These are your options. Everything is on the website. If you want to speak to someone, this is the number you can call. If you'd rather write an email, this is the email you should write to. And these guys actually respond to you when you write an email, you know? Back home, when you call, nobody answers. If the number even exists or goes through, you know.
Even the emails, you're not even sure if they'll be received.
There's no structure. They don't even have like a website where you can read through stuff. Everything is just chaotic. So coming to an organized system, I really appreciated that.
Okay, and then also in regards to maybe say the teaching methods also in school, you know, with the interaction with the professors here, is it different from back at home?
Of course. Of course.
How different is it?
It's very different. I mean, the mindset here is completely, initially it was strange to some people. They were like, why are these guys so simple and so easy to reach? Like, if you want to come to my office, these are my office hours. This is my email address. Are you serious? Back home, I mean, before you see a professor, you you schedule a meeting with him and then you still wait in his office, and there's a tendency that you don't see him that day, you know? It's really crazy. But here, I mean, it's so organized. Like, if a professor says, I'm available at so time, he is available at that time. If he says it's 30 minutes, everybody has 30 minutes to see me. I mean, you have your full 30 minutes, you know? So I really appreciated that. And they are open-minded to listen to students when they are teaching. If you have an idea, they won't see it as, oh, I know more than you. They see it as, okay, maybe this is something I don't know. Maybe this is something I should look into. You know, and they are open to making you learn more. You know, like they would be like, if you have any questions, please ask. They take time, like every other 15 minutes or every 10 minutes to say, what I've said so far, is it clear? Do you need me to re-emphasize more? Or is there something I should go back on? You know, but in school back then in Africa, it's more like, okay, this is the information I have for you, take it or leave it.
Because I also find it that, it's very easy to approach them, and also the interaction, the level of interaction that students have in class, like anyone is open to speak their mind as well, and you can actually get to, you know, learn a lot from your peers, as well as the teachers also get to learn a lot from the students. That's another thing I came to realize. So I love that, the fact that they're open-minded enough to accept that they don't know everything. So now, in regards to now the finances, because a majority of students, when they come here, of course, they have to prove that they can take care of themselves. They can pay for their fee. Maybe you can take us through the financial aspect in terms of the administrative costs, cost of living as well, student accommodation. How was it for you, and how did you manage to cover your lapses?
Okay, so for Germany, to the best of my knowledge, I know that there are 3 ways you can come to Germany. One is through scholarships, you're fully funded. The other is through sponsorship, like someone who is living in Germany would say that the person would take care of you, and the person would prove that the person can take care of you. And then the third one is you blocking an account of a certain amount. In my time, it was about 8,000 euros. Right now, I think it's about 11,000.
Yeah, right now it's around 11,
Yes, so the 11,000
from 8,000 to 11,000, that's quite a spike.
I mean, inflation. Yes. So they factor in that you should, then it was about 600 to 800 should be able to cater for your accommodation, feeding, health insurance, and other miscellaneous activities. So then in my school, our accommodation was about 200 and 300, between 200 and 300 euros.
So this is accommodation monthly, offered by the university specifically?
Yes, accommodation offered by the university.
But is everyone qualified for that? Because I know also like there's some sort of age limit. I don't know how that works in
my school. Then if you are studying in Cottbus, then you have right to claim an accommodation. You can request for an accommodation if you're studying.
Or regardless of your status, like if you're married or if you're older than 30 or something like that,
They
right?
have an accommodation for married people separately, and then they have accommodation for those that are single. So most of the units they have are actually for single people.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Then, so roughly it will be around 600 to 800 euro per month in this case.
So yes, living costs. So if you are paying 200 euros for accommodation and your health insurance is, let's say, 120 euros or 150 euros, I mean, you still have like 400 on top to play with. And if you're not a very extravagant person, maybe you spend 100 or 150 or 200 euros on yourself, you still have some change. So that was how it worked then. Now, of course, things are a bit more pricey. And this was for a small city. So for a bigger city like Berlin, for example, for students, you pay maybe 350, 400 for an accommodation. If it's a shared apartment, maybe less. But that was the ideal thing. And then cost of living, maybe another 200. So you're on that 800 bandwidth. So yeah, between 600 to 800 should be able to cover your living cost as at 2018.
And for you personally, did you have to get like some student jobs at some point? And how was the experience balancing, maybe say student jobs or working student positions with school?
Okay, because I came with a blocked account, my first 6 months, I decided I was going to focus on my education. So I took as many courses as I could. I learned the language, to some extent, the courses that were being offered in school. So most people would just take 2 or 3 courses, but I think I did like 7 courses my first semester, including German. And it really helped me because after the 6 months, I started looking for a job because, of course, my money had gone down. It wasn't sustainable for me to continue living off my blocked account because it was only for 1 year. Yeah, so at that point, it was easy for me to combine work and school. So I was taking like maybe 3 or 4 courses my second semester, and then I would work maybe 2 or 3 days a week. So it was quite okay for me. If I'm working 2 days a week and I'm schooling 3 days a week, yeah.
Because also there's a limit of how many hours you can work as a student when you're on a student visa, right?
20 hours a week.
Okay. So that's sustainable. It can get you a good income with 20 hours. Okay. And then in regards to, now transitioning into the job market after graduation, after how long did you graduate? Because I know usually with public universities, you have the option of, prolonging it. Because I know some people, unfortunately or fortunately, they can do their masters like even for up to 6 years. You've heard of those cases, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in your case, how long did it take?
I mean, I finished my courses at the time I should have finished I finished all my courses in 3 semesters. Ideally, it should be 4 semesters and then you do your thesis.
Yeah.
But then Corona struck.
Yeah.
And it was difficult getting a professor to do your thesis with. So it took me like 6 months to get a professor. And then after I got a professor, it took me like an additional 6 months. But I was done with my courses in like a year.
Yeah, because the first semester you already took like 7 courses.
Exactly.
So that one really helped.
Exactly.
Okay, and then also the thesis, it's not like it's a rush. Depending on when you get the supervisor is when you get to write it.
Exactly.
Nice. Then now transitioning into the job market, how was that for you? And looking for jobs, was it difficult?
Yeah, so looking for jobs in Germany, most times if you don't really have like a software skill, or if you don't speak the language, or if you're not very techy, it might be a challenge for you to get a job because, I mean, in the western part of the world, things are a bit different from the way things are in Africa. So it was a challenge for me. I mean, I had over 4 years experience working in Nigeria and getting a working student job. So some people would look at you like you're overqualified, or they would look at you as, okay, so what software skills do you have? Or do you have experience working here in Germany? So
would you say like they don't, at that particular point, they were really not factoring in your experience from Nigeria?
For working students, they weren't really factoring my experience in Nigeria. It was really difficult for me. I never got a working student job until I almost graduated. Just at the point of graduation, when I was finishing my thesis, I got 2 options. So I got an internship option that was going to pay me very well, almost as good or even better than people that were working full-time. And I got a full-time position. So I decided to take the full-time because I was already done with school pretty much.
And usually after graduation, you have the 18 months visa, the 18-month job seeking visa in this case. So in this case, you're able to take up any job. So did you change your visa to a working visa or the 18-month when you took the full-time job?
It was just transition into work. I didn't, the 18 months, because I wasn't seeking for a job, so I didn't take the 18 months, no.
Okay. But you didn't find that risky? Because I usually find a lot of people are a little bit, skeptical about it. Because, you have to, okay, so normally in Germany, when you get a job, you have the 6 months probation period. And without that 6 months probation period, after you pass, the good thing is the German laws are really protective of their employees. So once you pass the 6 months, then that's it. You pretty much cannot be fired unless it's something that, is really serious. But so that 6 months is usually a bit tricky. So you are super confident too.
I mean, I had 2 offers, for God's sake, so, and I had some work experience and I was done with school, so, and I had taken some courses. I was always, even in the period of waiting to get a professor, I was always taking courses. Like if I didn't learn something new in 3 months, I would be very uncomfortable. So I took LinkedIn courses, Coursera, all these MMOC courses. And because I still wanted to be in sales, in business development, I would look for things that were competitive, contemporary skills that I needed in my field. And then I would take courses or read up on them. I would look at people that were doing what I wanted to do on LinkedIn, look at their profiles.
So would you say that apart from your schoolwork, your MSc in Cottbus, the extra courses that you took on the side really contributed to you getting a really good...
100%. What I studied had nothing to do with what I was doing. My first job, it had absolutely nothing.
And what kind of contemporary courses did you do so that you can get those skills?
Okay, so, I mean, it's different. For someone who is into data analysis, there are so many courses you can take on data analysis, like... I don't know, Microsoft Azure, SQL, you can learn about SQL, get grounded in Excel, Power BI, that's for data analysis, for example. For someone who wants to go into software engineering, you should learn different programming languages, R, Python, So for me in sales, I had to learn how to use a CRM to get a little bit of foundation in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, be able to do presentations comfortably, learn communication skills, learn how to interact with clients, there are so many soft skills that people overlook that are actually very important.
Vital, Okay. And then also some of those skills, would you also say some you get to learn on the job?
Of course, there are certain things that you can only learn on the job. For example, interfacing with clients. You would learn that only when you're interfacing with the client.
So you don't get to do that before you get a job. Okay. And now when it comes to, there's this big topic about now taking care of yourself. There's the mental health and there's the physical health aspect of it. And we all know in Germany, it's very, very easy to, be on your own, alone, and also in terms of physical health, because it's always work home. So how do you get to balance that and just generally take care of yourself?
Okay, well,
and keep your level of sanity.
It's important. Yes. So I'd say that the community where I was in Cottbus really helped me. So in school, there are so many options. You can learn anything you want to learn. There is music, there are different kinds of sports, arts, martial arts, gym. And some of these things are almost free, like very cheap or free, actually. There's a library you can use, and there are people that are 5 minutes walking distance, 3 minutes walking distance, your next door neighbor, and this really helped. So I was always interacting with these people, so community, seeing people physically really
So you're
helped.
very proactive in actually going to make friends, meet people.
Yes, you have to be intentional about it. I mean, hey guys, and the community we always scheduled once in a while meetings, where we just chill, have some drinks, barbecue. When it's cold, we have some of these indoor programs, just to ensure that the social connection is there. And then they also are arrange like football competitions, you know, to keep people active because you're sedentary, you're sitting down a lot. You need to be physically active.
By the way, you know, this reminds me of something. The time when I used to live in Stuttgart, because, you know, there was a period of time when I was still in school, I did my internship in Mercedes-Benz in Stuttgart. And during that 6 months, there was a time when we went out to one of these, you know, communal activities, and it was a sports event that was organized by, you know, the African community. So it was the teams that were supposed to play in that sports event, it was a football match, were supposed to be representative of different African countries. So they were like guys from Nigeria, guys from Kenya, guys from Tanzania. Then, you know, the funny thing is, the Kenyan team, nobody showed up.
Why?
So I don't know. So it was only Nigerians playing for the Kenyan team versus their fellow Nigerians.
Interesting.
I found that funny. I was like, wow, what is happening to the Kenyan community? But and then also I realized with the Nigerian community, they're the ones who had organized like even the food. They were, you know, so I find it very, you know,
we're very socially active.
Yes, I was.
We like to chop life.
No matter what kind of problems, like, you know, we all know Germany comes with also a lot of problems at times.
Of course.
But you guys, whether there's problem or not, you guys, which is a good, you know, spirit.
Yes.
Moving forward, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your professional experience, where maybe people can find you, what kind of knowledge you'd like to share with people on your expertise. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, great. So professionally in Germany, I have worked with a blockchain asset management company. That was my first job. And I did that for like 6 months. And then I got another job. I'm actually interested in emerging technologies. So robotics, blockchain technology, AI, IoT, things like that. Yeah, I feel like the future is ahead of us. So pursue the future.
That's where the future is headed.
And so I talk about emerging technologies a lot on LinkedIn. I have a profile, People Over Profits, on LinkedIn, where we talk about crypto, blockchain, NFTs, metaverse. But on my LinkedIn page right now, because I'm working with an IoT company, I really don't talk so much about blockchain because that used to be where I used to work. Although I'm still interested in blockchain technology, I do something on the side in that aspect. But I feel like people should pay attention to not just what's happening at the moment, but what will be happening or what will be relevant in the future. So for example, if you Google something like what careers will still be relevant in the next 10 years, you see something like data analysis, you see something like sales, you see something like software engineering, artificial intelligence, you know, machine learning, things like that. So I feel like people should be more futuristic and plan ahead. Okay, things that are trending right now may not trend in the next 10 years, may not trend in the next 5 years. So position yourself in a place where you are always relevant and having a growth mindset, like you are always learning. I said something before, if I don't take a course in 3 months, I feel very uncomfortable because the world is moving at a very fast pace. And especially in this Western part of the world, it's very competitive. You have people from China, people from India, people from even the US come here, you know, so if you don't position yourself in a place where you are relevant, you're always offering value, you'll find out that you'll be left behind.
You'll be left behind. Exactly.
Yeah. So I would say, just always keep growing, keep learning, stay competitive.
I also find it very important for, you know, not only focusing on, you know, you going to school, getting your degree, you also need to harness some skills outside the formal classroom that you have. So that's why we have the platform Self-Taught Academy, where we encourage people to harness self-taught skills in one way or the other, so that you can always find a way of being competitive in the job market, in whatever profession that you're pursuing. And that would definitely help you, especially in this Western world.
Yes.
But say if you want to make it here, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, any parting shot for our viewers? How would you like to encourage the younger ones who are still looking up to, you know, people who are here now?
Well, I would say take advantage of opportunities. You know, like where I got to was because I was open-minded to just take advantage of the opportunity. And the thing is, if you look for them, you will find them.
Yeah.
If you look for them, and it doesn't matter how small it is, it could be building you for something bigger in the future. So whatever opportunity you come across, just take advantage. Even if it's voluntary, whether you're paid or not, just have the mindset of growing.
Yeah.
The growth mindset will help you be valuable, and the marketplace will always reward value for value. So if you are not bringing in value into a company, into an organization, they don't see a reason why they should keep you or hire you. So but if you are valuable, how much can you add to the bottom line? What difference can you make in an organization? So focusing on growing, focusing on adding value will take you places. I mean, it's a very small world.
And everyone is trying to fight for a position, or rather to, you know, be noticed. So just be someone who adds value.
Yes.
So thank you so much, OhGee. We really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.